experience for us. So thank you. Welcome, Nigel, to the stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for letting me speak. But I'd really like to thank you for all the effort that you guys put in to creating an environment where kids can learn and grow and chase their dreams. I'm a really fortunate person because my parents always encouraged me to chase my dreams. And for me, my dream as a young kid was to play Division I college basketball in the USA, even though I'm a slow white guy. And because of their love, support, and encouragement, I was able to achieve my dreams. And I believe it's that spirit of support that led me to PNC's Queensland and us partnering together a few years ago. And also, I guess, why I'm standing here today. We're a family-based business, and that's us there. And my mother and father have been in the business. They're both over 70 years old. Until just recently when my mum came to me and said, "Nige, I got a sore back." Mum's the toughest person I know. And she went and sat down for 8 days. And I said, "Mum, that's crazy. We've got to get you to hospital." But she's an old nurse and she hates hospitals. Anyway, we got her there. When we got her there, she had no bone marrow in her spine, no bone marrow in her hips. And the doctors gave her 3 days to live. And 5 broken vertebrae. And she's lying there and she says to me, "Nige, I was watching Australia's Got Talent. And if that stupid silver dog can walk across the stage and shake its balls and win." And I thought, finally, the most positive person I know is going to say, "Life is so unfair. Why me? Why do I have cancer?" But she didn't. She said, if that stupid silver dog can walk across the stage and shake those balls and win, surely we can win. And I thought, what a legend. She didn't say I, she said we, because the thing she taught me from a very young age is that in life it's only the things that you do for other people that matter. And so she always, and I thought to actually live that out right into a really tough moment is amazing. But she's a fighter, and she didn't give up. And so 6 months after the doctors gave her 3 days, she celebrated her birthday with her granddaughters. And so that was... And so she's winning. So it makes me think, in the context of a PNC, what does it mean to win? And for me, I have 3 young daughters. I'm a proud state school dad. And for me, winning is when we have the resources for our kids to achieve their dreams. Now, school uniform shops are a critical element into raising the funds that we need for kids to achieve their dreams. Now, a well-run uniform shop, when you sell something, should have a margin of around 30 to 40%. Obviously, that's over to PNCs to determine. But to put perspective on these percentages, we have Warren Buffett. Now, Warren Buffett is possibly the greatest investor of our time. He runs a company called Berkshire Hathaway. And they've had an annualized return over the last 50 years of about 19.7%. Now, that may not seem like a large number to you, but if you'd invested just $1 in 1964 with Warren Buffett, you would now be worth $11.6 million. Can I just have a raise of hands? Would anyone like $11.6 million? Yeah, me too. That's the power of percentages. That's why big businesses want to come over and take over your uniform shop. Because you see, fundraising is incredibly difficult, and the Australian government knows that. And that's why they make school uniform shops one of the few legal retail monopolies of the Western world. Just think about that for a second. Monopolies are usually put in place, and governments usually have rules to stop them because they're so powerful, and their ability to raise resources is so incredible. But the Australian government realises that good people such as yourselves control that power and will use it for good to benefit the lives of the children of Australia. So it's a really, really important point. Now, there's a few things that they're going to say in order to stop you guys running your own uniform shop. First of all, you've got stock. Well, yes, we do. Stock is good. Stock is an asset. Since the beginning of time, companies have had stock, they sell it, and that's how they make money. The secret is you've got to manage stock, and it's actually easy with technology and the correct data. The next thing is you can't get volunteers. Well, I don't know, but has anyone in this room ever volunteered? Look, I'm an optimist, believe you me, and I believe life is good. I believe in the goodness of the human spirit. I believe there are good people all over the place. All right? We've proven you can get volunteers, but there's nothing wrong with paying someone a few hours a week to run a business within your school. But not for 1 second do I think volunteers are going to die. I mean, I've been coming to P&C's Queensland now for 3 years to the conferences, and we see lots of new faces every single year, which means there's people out there who we don't know about who are going to volunteer next year. It will happen. You can't provide sufficient hours of operation. Does anyone have one of these? They thought this was going to end retail because you can buy anything you want 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's extremely powerful. Maybe in 1964 that argument made sense, but seriously, in 2016, technology is the answer. You still need to be open a couple of hours, but technology is the answer. All right. People like to think that there are a lot of variables, and companies would like to make you think that it is so difficult to run your uniform shop to get you not to do it. It's just not true. We know the simple things that make uniform shops work, but you really shouldn't tell anyone because there's $1 billion fundraising industry at stake. It's that big across Australia. Now, just quickly, 2 case studies. First of all, before I do that, just a little thing. I visit with Leanne from Narangba Valley, probably term 1, term 2. And what we do is simply look over historical data. And we have a look and we know over a 12-month period you need 10.6% size 4s, 19.9% size 6s, 21.3% size 8s. That's what she uses over a 12-month period. We know, on average, a school needs between 0.9 to 1.1 polo shirts per child. So then the next thing is, okay, when do you need delivery? Do you want delivery October 15 for prep orientation? Do you want it November or December? The secret is you need to receive delivery of your goods when you sell them to maximize cash flow. That makes sense. But none of this is rocket science. With the right systems and the right support, it's actually quite simple. Yeah, so don't be fooled. It's not difficult. Now, a couple of case studies. Aspley East and Craigsley State School. Going back a few years ago, they thought in a moment of, I don't even know why, that they would give away their monopoly and give it to a retailer. A new P&C came in and went, that's crazy, let's keep this money for benefit our children. When they gave their polo shirts away, their polo shirts went to $35. Now $35 is a totally reasonable retail price for a polo shirt. The problem is, they only got back a small percentage. Now, I just want to talk price for a quick second because it's the thing that I get asked most when I go to P&C meetings. They say, Nigel, we need to make more money, but we are in a low socio-economic demographic. I'm sure some of you are nodding your head out there with me. This is what happens. If you raise your uniform polo price $5, the 80-20 rule will kick in. You have 20% of the parents in your schools and they cannot afford their uniforms. They can't afford their polo shirt at $35, they can't afford it at $25, they can't afford it at $15. But guess what? 80% of the parents in your school probably walk out the gate and go and buy a cup of coffee. They may even buy a cup of coffee once a week, maybe once a day. But when you ask for people to help fundraise, how many of those people put up their hand and say, yeah, I'll run the barbie, stick a steak on? Not many. How many say, hey, I'll put the fate together? It doesn't happen. I don't think it's fair that you guys and 3 or 4 other people at your school do all the fundraising work. However, you raise the price of your polo shirt $5 by default, every single member of your school community is contributing to fundraising. I think that's fair. All right? Now, there's an even more compelling argument. I'm full of stats, don't worry. Between prep and grade 6, you've got 7 years. We know on average it's between 0.9 and 1.1 polo shirts per child. So therefore, if you up your polo shirt $5, we're talking about an increase to a parent for a child of $50 in 7 years to contribute it towards fundraising. I don't think that is an insurmountable amount. To break it down even further, it's 19 cents a week. It's not even the coffee in the cup of coffee. And yet, it helps all of the parents and helps all of their children achieve their dreams. Now, here's the kicker. That $50, you extrapolate that over 3.7 million kids in school in Australia today, is $185 million fundraising dollars to help buy interactive whiteboards, sporting equipment, pay for teacher aides, pay for air conditioning to keep the rooms cool, to help our kids study, to help them achieve their dreams. I'm passionate about this stuff. And the reason I am is because I know the numbers are real, and I'm a proud state school dad. And my state school does the same thing. They run a massively successful fete, and they sell their uniforms too cheap, and I'm always telling them, it's crazy. Stop asking me to buy cases of Coke, give them to you, and then go to the fete and buy them back. Because you see what will happen. If uniform shops don't run successfully, and if you sell your garments too cheap, you give up, you give it to a retailer, the retailer say, hallelujah. My dad's an old preacher. And they make all the money, and then the school still has to go to the parents for fundraising. Doesn't make sense, does it? And the things in life that make sense are always the best things. So obviously, Craigsley and Aspley's took back their uniform shop. They left the prices at $35. Now they make $16, $17 per polo shirt. Serious fundraising. All right, Naomi's somewhere in the audience. Yeah, she's over there. Make sure, from Craigsley, make sure you have a talk to her throughout the conference. She'll show you how easy it is. Now they control their own assets. They control their own destiny. All right, and they will have success with it, and they are having success with it. So, I'd like to leave you guys today with our company motto, which is to always stay positive, look for solutions, and expect great things to happen, because I know that with love and support of people around you, dreams happen. And I'll finish with the words of my mother, that if you work together, surely we can win.
Wow. That was really fantastic, very informative. I'm sure there were heaps of heads nodding in the audience there. That was really, really terrific. So thank you very much, Nigel. He's out in the foyer, one of our exhibitors, so make sure that you go and say hello to him in the last day of our conference. And if you've got any more questions, I'm sure he can answer them for you. Now we're going to move on to our